All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be talking about Errol Spence Jr., who is having a big fight this evening with one of the fighters under his promotional banner, Frank Martin. And in the lead into that, he actually exposes what he says is a lie from Terence Crawford and lets it be known that if the Terence Crawford fight doesn't happen, hey man, it just don't happen. Now, and I think that that is a good thing. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division and the 147-pound division at the same time. There's a big fight coming up this evening with some contenders in the 135-pound division. Frank Martin and Michelle Rivera is going to be on Showtime tonight. One of those fighters are represented by Errol Spence Jr.'s Man Down Promotions. So Errol Spence Jr. was out giving interviews and said some interesting things about Terence Crawford and also what he was going to be willing to do moving forward. So we're going to cover all of that in this video. Before I do get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much. This particular video, I always like to dedicate the videos to people that support the channel. And once again, this one, I'm going to go to my guy, Aaron Muhammad, the music promoter, really understands the business of promotion. Always a very, very good conversation that we have. And thank you so much. And people like you that support in the super chats and in the cash apps of the live streams, and also to people, the increasing number of people. And it's really important to the channel specifically for videos like this. Thank you guys so much for supporting in the super thanks, which you can see in the lower right hand corner of the video with a little heart sign with $1 in it, which is how YouTube channels like myself and other ones that you like, I would say do the same thing for, if it's possible, for other channels that you like, whether it's boxing, music, whatever, for the content, to support content creators. Thank you so much for people to do that. Now let's get into this video though. All right, so Errol Spence Jr. said a couple things I thought were very interesting, worthy of having a conversation about, and I'm going to tell you what they are and why I think that it's an important issue, right? Now, first and foremost, let me say, I would love to see the Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight, and because I want to see that fight, I think what Errol Spence Jr. is doing and what he said is probably the best way to make that fight happen. And let me tell you what it is. First and foremost, he was asked, somebody cracked a joke with him about a fire stick, right? Asked him, did you watch the Terence Crawford fight? And something to the effect of, did you watch it on your Fire Stick? Now, if you're not familiar, a Fire Stick is a device which allows you to see pay-per-view events for free without, basically allows you to steal pay-per-view events. And Terence Crawford had made a reference to that on an Instagram live deal that he did where he tried to explain why he turned down the Errol Spence Jr. fight. And in the middle of it, he says, that we know that there's not a lot of pay-per-views being sold, because people are stealing the events with their Fire Sticks. And Terence Crawford said that Errol had told him, yeah, I have a Fire Stick too. Well, in this particular instance, Errol Spence Jr. denied that and said, look, man, I ain't got no Fire Stick. Terence Crawford ain't never been to my house. How does he know if I got a Fire Stick or not? Now, I will tell you, though, that Terence Crawford, one of the things that I actually believed when he said it was the Fire Stick deal, because that just seems so random for him just to pull that out, right? Like, but at the same time, kind of foul. Like, how you trying to just bust this dude out for using Fire Sticks and stealing boxing matches when the guy's obviously got a lot of money and can afford to buy pay-per-views? But regardless, he said he didn't buy the pay-per-view. He didn't watch the fight. He only saw the knockout. Said Terence Crawford looked, he looked really good. Said he always looks good in this fight. Said the knockout was nasty, right? Gave Terence Crawford the credit that Terence Crawford deserved for the fight. But then later on, because like I said, there's a million interviews out there, a million people with cameras stuck in people's face, in Errol Spence Jr.'s face. He was asked, what about the Terence Crawford fight? And, do you think it's going to be, what's going to happen? And he said, well, who knows? Anything could happen, next year. Don't know. Still trying to figure out what car I'm going to buy, cracking a joke because he had another car accident, had another car totaled. I don't know what I'm going to do. Got to buy, I'm looking to buy another car or something. Got to figure that out first. But he said, look, if the Terence Crawford fight happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Now, that is what I'm saying right there. That's what he needs to do. And there's going to be a lot of people pushing on people to continue to say, Errol Spence Jr. needs to fight Terence Crawford. Errol Spence Jr. needs to fight Terence Crawford. We need to demand Errol Spence Jr. fight Terence Crawford. I am not in that school. I am somebody that says, no, Terence Crawford need to go do Terence Crawford, and Errol Spence Jr. need to go do Errol Spence Jr. Because if Errol goes and does Errol Spence Jr. and says, look, man, I'm not interested in that stuff with Terence Crawford unless Terence Crawford is willing to just, here's the contract, sign it. If you do not sign it, the one I'm handing you, I'm moving to go fight somebody else. If it is any more complicated a negotiation than that, then Errol Spence Jr. needs to walk away and leave Terence Crawford to his devices and whatever he's going to do next. Because what you don't want, if you're Errol, or I don't think you should want, if you are a boxing fan that actually wants to see that fight, is the same thing happen again, where Terence Crawford and Terence Crawford's team and the people that work with him are able to leverage public interest in Terence Crawford fighting Errol Spence Jr. to sell something else, right? Which is what they did last time. The only real leverage that Terence Crawford has in a negotiation with Errol is how much desire Errol has for the fight. Because the truth of the matter is, with the pay-per-view numbers that came out for BLK Prime, and man, I said 15,000. I'm gonna do a video about it, talk about it on a video, but I said 15,000, right? Because that was the first number that I heard. You now have people saying, no, that's not right. It was closer to 5,000. And I'm telling you, if he sold 5,000 pay-per-views, that does so much damage to the possibility of seeing an Errol Spence Jr. fight that it is not funny at all. Now you're talking about a situation where if Errol fights Terence, you really don't have any idea how big the fight is, because Terence Crawford has zilch fan base. He has a lot of noisy Errol Spence and PBC detractors supporting him. However, 5,000 people, if you can't get 5,000, I don't care what platform it's on, it ain't that hard to find. It's on BLK Prime. You should have at least 15,000, 20,000 hardcore fans that will buy it no matter where you go to see that fight. Ain't no way in the world. I mean, I suspect that there may be 5,000 Americans that would watch Monster anyway at 3:00 in the morning if they put that on pay-per-view. Maybe not. But man, it couldn't be too much less. I mean, man, you know what I'm saying? And if they said they exceeded expectations, but they didn't release enough, man, it's just terrible. So on the real, Errol saying, hey, man, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's the tack that man needs to take, because then let Terence Crawford figure out how he's going to go do another fight on BLK Prime and sell 5,000 pay-per-views, because that's not going to last long if they did 5,000 pay-per-views. And I don't care how much noise and stuff that they kick out about it. I've not heard any numbers better than 15,000, and the numbers that are coming out are going down from there, not up. So it very well may be that the 15,000 was the exaggeration, but just wild stuff altogether. Now, as far as this fight coming up this evening, though, man, this is going to be one of the best. This should be one of the best fights at lightweight that has been made in a while. because the champions in that division are the top guys in that division have not been really fighting each other. And these guys right here, Michelle Rivera and Frank Martin, those guys are on the come up and are definitely in position to the winners in a position to fight one of those guys, one of either the Lomachenkos, the Shakur Stevensons, Gervonta Davis, or Devin Haney. You got to put the winner of this up there with those guys, and I can't wait to see that fight. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comments section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.